music and this is gonna be no. All right, we are right back on yet again on YouTube and Twitch. This is Basement Movie Room. We're here with a couple of movie reviews of a couple of movies we watched on Friday. This is Monday at this point, so memory might not be as good per se, but
hopefully somebody's good at notes.
If you'd like to find us, you can find us at youtube.com/@basementmovieroom or twitch.tv/basementmovieroom or Basement Movie Room on all your favorite podcast apps. So here we are. We watched two movies. We watched a movie called No Resistance, which nobody has probably heard of outside of fans of maybe Vinegar Syndrome, which is where I bought this movie. And we also watched The Old Way, and we're going to be discussing them both. We're going to start with No Resistance.
Yes.
No Resistance is a low-budget SOV release. It's shot on video, made in Houston area in 1991, I think is ultimately when it was actually made. Shot on Super VHS. So it's shot with basically a camcorder you could have gone out and bought from, Radio Shack. Not Radio Shack, but Service Merchandise.
Yeah, and Service
Classic
Merchandise.
Store. So you know there was one in Houston for sure.
Nice throwback, yeah.
Yeah, definitely one in Houston.
Yeah, you can definitely tell from the first shot. You see the lens.
Yeah.
It's a nice circular lens there.
You got a little bit of lensing on the edges and all that stuff. So No Resistance is kind of a future set film where I think essentially society is broken down to an extent in the United States. It's not really made clear, but there's wars going on. The opening is a protest of wars. Not any specific war, but there's like a hippie guy with a nice little rat tail going on there arguing with a cop. And really this has not much to do with the rest of the movie. It's just kind of an opening to show like brutality from the police. So you're introduced to your main character of the movie, a guy named, I thought his name was Ditch throughout the movie, but it's Didge. D-I-J.
Okay.
Didge.
Yeah, I thought it was Ditch also.
Yeah. So he's wearing these funky glasses and he's carrying around like a computer on a strap beside him. And so we're introduced to him kind of in this thing where the police is like telling him to get out of here, and he's real standoffish with the police, blows smoke, and he's smoking. And the cop tells him to put it out. Apparently smoking is supposed to be illegal. He cuts off I don't know, maybe it's a joint. I don't know. He cuts it off with scissors and then puts it back in his pocket because he's smoking again later. So Didge is we come to learn that Didge is like a decker, a cyber hacker type guy. And he's working the streets of Houston. And he works for this guy that is like a Mr. Smith prototype kind of.
Oh, absolutely.
He's doing these digital hacks and things for people. He gets hired to do these things, and so he goes to this cafe after we meet him. He goes to this cafe, not a cafe. It's like a Chinese restaurant or something
restaurant.
Like that.
Oh,
yeah.
It is glorious.
Yeah, it's like a little.
It is the dirtiest,
most
it looks
disgusting
terrible. Chinese.
It's probably
restaurant.
a real restaurant.
It's probably really good too.
Chicken and egg roll. There was the name of it right there. Chicken and egg roll.
Yep.
And he meets this guy who's wearing sunglasses, and he's like in a business suit, and he's like, "Oh, I've got another one for you." The guy's on like a cell phone in like the early '90s. I don't think it's a cell phone. I actually think it's just a cordless phone.
It actually just had a cord on it.
Yeah. Oh, it had a cord on it for sure.
So they were hiding the base under the table.
Yeah, they were. Hey, and it shows Didge doing drugs. We assume it's cocaine because he's snorting it, but they never actually say it's cocaine in the show. And Didge has this bright pink hair, by the way, like bright pink hair, and he's even standoffish to this guy and like talking to him like he's like kind of crazy person. He's talking to him crazy, and this guy's wearing his sunglasses and being all cool about it and all this, and he's telling me he has this job for him that he's got to go help this guy at this company. So Didge is like, yeah, I'll do it, whatever, what's the rate and all this. So Didge is all like, I can't even remember the lines of the movie, but it opens up, and Didge is eating soy sauce and hot mustard straight out of the packet. That's all he's eating. He's just eating the sauce.
And that is something that takes place throughout the movie.
Carries through. He does it more than one time. That's all he eats pretty much in the movie, yeah. So Didge sets out to find this job. He goes to this this business. It's like just somebody's like house or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
They go to, or a hotel or something. He goes in and he goes up to the desk, and there's this lady wearing the same kind of glasses. It's all like computers are in your sunglasses or something now in this movie. So Didge goes there, and he's like standoffish with this. Oh, I forgot about the bar scene. He goes to a bar
God,
too.
yeah.
And there's this bartender that he's friends with, and the guy's like, why are you doing all these drugs and everything, man? And
Do something with your life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he goes to this business and meets this. Actually, it's at the hotel. Is this hotel scene first? I can't remember this scenes honestly. Yeah. So it's been you skipped way ahead. Is why what happened? Yeah. There's reels and things like so. You skipped way ahead, but he goes to this business and meets up with this guy, and this guy's like, my mom, she's real sick, and I just want to end it, and they won't let me end it for her. So he's like, okay, fine, I'll do it, but it's double the rate for this because he wants him to kill his mom, essentially, take the life support out. So he goes into his little deck, and it has a little kind of a cool little scene where it's like a digital scene where he's doing the hacking through his glasses. You're seeing through his glasses.
Oh yeah, that was well done.
It's pretty well done,
Yeah.
like kind of early '90s CG type stuff overlay.
It's kind of like it was Terminator-esque.
Yeah, and Didge has this guy pegged. He knows this guy is just after his like mom's inheritance and all this. So he gets in there and he starts hacking. He's like, all right, it's done. And the guy's like, oh, she's done. He's like, no, not exactly. You have to do it. I'm not doing the final press of the button. And he puts it in front of the guy, and the guy can't do it. So Didge is like, hey, you got to pay me. And the guy gives him like the normal rate. And Didge is like, oh man, come on, you're supposed to be double. And he's like, I don't have it. This is all I have. So Didge goes through his disc and pulls out this disc, and he's like, what is this? It's like 3.5 floppy. And the guy's like, oh, that's like, this recipe cookie thing or something like that. And Didge is like, fine, I'm taking this, And so Didge leaves, and he runs into a drug dealer out in the street, and the drug dealer is part of the Freemasons. The Freemasons are apparently the drug dealers in the future of this thing.
They got patches on their back.
Yeah, it's crazy, and it's like just some random street guy. So Didge gets drugs off him by giving this disc and says, oh, this disc's worth a lot of money, and it's not. He's lying to him. So he gets the drugs.
The floppy disk.
Yeah, the floppy disk.
Oh, I love it.
And then he moves on from this guy. And the next scene, he goes to a bar. He goes to a bar, and he's hanging out at the bar, and he puts the drugs on a lime and like eats the lime with the drugs on it. And that's when the bartender's like, oh, why are you doing the drugs and everything? Yeah. And like, and he talks to this other guy in the bar, and the other guy in the bar is like, oh, can you do this and this? And he's like, yeah, and then talk about hookers and stuff like that. And then Didge leaves the bar later and runs into these like scumbags on the street. And he has a new job as well that's sent to him to go to this hotel. But he runs to these guys on the street that are like, oh, what are you doing, and all this. And he ends up giving the drugs and running away to get away from them. And he goes to this hotel. He has this card to get into this hotel. And he goes up to the front desk, and the guy's standoffish at the front desk. And he gives him the card and says, hey, just find out what room this is and call the room. So he ends up going up to the room, and there's this lady in the room that sets up this video camera. It's probably one of the video cameras they shot the movie with, to be honest, in the room. Yeah. Because she's going to get it on tape of them two, like, having sex, I guess. She's like, slumming with him or something. So he does this, and then he leaves. I don't really remember why this is happening, but this girl ends up dead later on at some point. But he figures out that he got set up. And the computer he's carrying around, by the way, is a TI-99.
Amazing.
It's like a very old Texas Instruments computer that is not like a hacking computer. This is just, it's nice prop, to be honest, because people who recognize computers are going to be like, oh, it's so cool. He's carrying around a TI-99. And so he does this with the woman, and he's getting set up for something. We don't know what, but he's getting set up, and he ends up figuring this out. And later on, he goes back to the Freemasons after this, and trying to, I guess, score more drugs. I can't remember why he goes back to them, but they hold him up, and they're like, oh, and the Freemasons are wild, man. The main guy is dropping the N-word constantly, and they got the American flag tattooed on their head. Yeah. Tattooed. It looks like child's face paint, but it's supposed to be tattoos. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the guys who stopped him on the street show up, and there's this huge shootout between them. And the Freemasons are actually trying to get money from him because he gave him that disc. That's why
he's trying to get the disc.
He's trying to get the disc. So the Freemasons
information on
getting this fight with these other guys who we don't know who they are really yet. And there's a shootout, and Didge escapes and runs away. Goes back to the diner where his handler is, and at the diner, the handler is dead. The handler's not there. He finds him dead out in the back. So he knows something's going on. Somebody's setting him up. He doesn't know who. So he starts investigating and tries to find this girl who had called him to the hotel room because he thinks she's... That disc is a virus, basically, he was supposed to give to the Freemasons, basically, to take down something or other. I can't remember.
Take down...
in a couple of days.
Take down some government.
The plot of this movie is not particularly important, to be honest, and it's hard to explain. So he ends up back there. His handler's dead in the alley. He's been shot in the head. So he goes back to the hotel trying to find the girl, and he gets the hotel guy to give him a credit card receipt to find out who she is. She looks her up and finds out where she is. He goes to where she probably would be, and he doesn't find her, and it's like another woman there, and he's like, "Do you know this girl?" And she's like, yeah, and she takes him back to a hotel room. Not a hotel room. It is a hotel room, but it's supposed to be like her apartment. And the girl that he slept with earlier is dead. And then, yeah, it's okay.
This is not the easiest.
It's okay. You don't. It's too hard to deal with. So he finds out this girl is the daughter of some like big businessman who's essentially doing something, and that's what she was trying to shut down, I think. So he goes to this garage to meet with them, and he gets attacked by the Freemasons again, who put him up against a wall, and they don't kill him though. It's surprising they don't kill him there. So he ends up dealing with them again, and he's got this syringe that they stabbed him with, and he's like, "Oh no, I'm immune to this, man." You know, he's immune to whatever they killed the other girl with, which there's no explanation for that. No. And I don't feel like I'm giving this movie justice because it's a lot better than it sounds, and it's probably hard. It's really hard to explain. So he's like, "I'm immune to it." So he ends up going to the office of this guy who's setting him up, and he finds the other guys there. The guys that attacked him on the street are working for this guy. Mm-hmm. And he has to get into the office, and man, I'm having trouble remembering what happens at the end of this movie. There's not a lot that happens, but
it just kind of ends.
Yeah, he gets in there and takes on this guy. He does some hacking and gets into the building and basically helps the Freemasons take down this company or something. Yeah. Because they're using him now. He's working with them to take down everybody, essentially.
Basically, take down the man.
Yeah, and he shows this video of this guy's daughter to him and just leaves, basically. And that's kind of the end of the movie. He's just going to continue doing what he does and being Didge. And that's it. I mean, it's actually a pretty cool movie. I mean, for low budget, probably made for like less than, I'd guess, $10,000 or less. I mean, it's that cheap. They definitely didn't have any permits. In fact, we watched some behind-the-scenes stuff. They're like, we didn't have any permits. We were just shooting wherever we could.
We took so much time in Houston on the streets, and we got out. Yeah. Got in, got out as fast as we could.
Yep, they did.
Yeah. And, some of the, the stuff that they used, like looking through his lenses and stuff, it was pretty impressive.
Yeah. Oh, no, it was. So this movie was kind of a cyberpunk inspiration. I mean, you look at this and you think The Matrix is going to come out like 5 years after this.
Yeah.
And you can see like the inspiration. They mentioned William Gibson, who wrote the book Neuromancer, I believe is what it's called, or Necro. No.
Not Necro.
It's Neuromancer. It is Neuromancer. I have a game that's based on that from years ago. But yeah, so it's very much based on a cyberpunk kind of future. So Didge is kind of a cyberpunk. And, recording error. I don't know what that is. Oh, disk is full. Damn. Okay. Sorry, we're going to have to pause for a second. I gotta... It's okay. We can use the Twitch recording on this one. We'll be okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's an interesting movie. I mean, I ultimately think it's a pretty good movie. Ultimately, for what it is, it's not it's not terrible by any means. I think it's very watchable. It's one of the more watchable of the Vinegar Syndrome orders I've ever made.
It's a hard one to explain.
It's very hard to explain.
There's a lot going on that you don't really. I mean, not that you don't understand it. It's like why.
Yeah.
But like the story actually kept you intrigued.
Yeah, it does.
The whole time.
Yeah.
And this came off of just watching a movie that was the opposite of that.
We're gonna watch that. We're gonna talk about that in just a second. Yeah.
But the story actually was intriguing to the point. And the movie's shot poorly.
Oh,
they did the best that they could on a shoestring budget.
Yeah. And Didge, in fact, at the end of the movie says he might go to St. Louis, which is where we are. So that's awesome.
So the sequel might come to St. Louis.
Yeah, there's no sequel.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, we'll see.
We might shoot.
So that's No Resistance. It's from Saturn's Core is who actually released it, but I bought it through Vinegar Syndrome. So what do you think? What are you rating it?
I actually enjoyed this movie a lot.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah. We have a lot of fun with these movies. We make fun of them a lot, but in the end, we do respect what they're trying to do. I mean, they're making a movie, they're having fun with it, and I really enjoyed it. So I mean,
it's good. It's good stuff.
I might watch it again.
Oh, I'd watch it again. Well, I'd watch it right now, but if I had time, yeah. So, music was pretty decent considering.
Yeah, they did their own.
Yeah. Did
their own music, which was pretty impressive, and they had some pretty good beats in that.
Oh yeah. But okay. So I'll rate first. I'm gonna give it 3.5, just a solid 3.5. Not even Vinegar scale because this isn't really a Vinegar Syndrome release, but it's a 3.5. I think as a movie, it's a 3.5 for me. A little better.
I wouldn't go that high. I'd probably be at a 2.5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's decent though.
Yeah.
It's middle of the road.
Yeah. But I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
For what it is. And
I liked it.
There were a lot of things in this that you saw in movies like The Matrix.
Yeah.
That happened later, so they were a little bit ahead of their time.
Most definitely.
And we talked about that after we watched the movie.
Yeah.
And saw the commentary. It's like, wow, yeah.
They're ahead of their time for sure.
Yeah.
It's good stuff. Yeah.
So
all right.
Enjoyable. Check it out.
So that's No Resistance. I
guess would we recommend people watching?
Oh, I'd recommend this. Yeah. I already recommended it to a guy that bought it off Vinegar Syndrome. Yeah.
Get past all the, the technical issues.
Yeah.
And just enjoy it for what it is.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
All right. So I think we're going to delay the old way because I need to head home.
Okay.
But we'll do the old way next on Friday possibly. Hey, what's up, Drew? Thanks for joining in right as we're about to get off, unfortunately. Thanks for joining.
Gangsters?
Love
the intro.
Check out No Resistance, Drew. Definitely check us out. And yeah, we're about to get off. Sorry, man.
Oh, man.
But you know what? We'll be back on Friday late and on Sundays for Last of Us if you ever want to jump in. Definitely follow us on YouTube or Twitch, whichever one you're coming through. I don't know which one you're coming through. But thanks for joining us, and we will see you next time. You can follow us on YouTube, youtube.com/basementmovieroom, /@basementmovieroom, or twitch.tv/basementmovieroom, or on any podcast app. This will also be on there. But thanks for joining us.
Would love some good discussion.
We do. Yeah. And send in questions to basementmovieroom podcast with an S @gmail.com.
Yep.
You guys have a good evening.
All right.